my channel. My name's Leilani. You could also call me Lay. Today, I'm going to be doing a 24-hour reading vlog. I am going to sleep during this vlog, but I'm going to try to stay awake as much as possible. The goal is to read books that I physically own, but also the books that I need to finish before the year's up. So one of those books is Fable. I've had this on my shelf for, when did this come out? I could let you know. 2020, so it's been 4 years, and I haven't read it. Do I remember what this was about? No. I think, I want to say maybe something with pirates, but I have the audiobook, and I know the lighting's off. I'm not going to be here the whole time, but I'm going to start it now, and also I'm going to be coloring while listening to the audiobook. So I'll give you an update when I'm a little bit further into the section. So yeah, let's get started. Okay, so it's currently 7:16. I don't know if you could see it, and I'm almost done with Fable. I haven't really kept you updated, but I'm enjoying the story so far. I'm on chapter 30. Honestly, I'm almost done. I have a few more hours of the book left, and if you're curious, I stopped the timer. So we've been reading for 3 hours, and I'm enjoying it. I thought it was a pirate book. It's not a pirate book, but it is set at sea, and we follow Fable, who is a teenager, and when she was younger, her father basically abandoned her on this island to fend for herself. Why? Don't really know why, but the day before he abandoned her, her mother died at sea, and her mother was, I don't know what it's called, but basically she was on the crew to find like gems, and she could easily tell when a gem was real or fake, and there's like some sort of question mark power to that, and now her daughter has that ability. So Fable has been for the last 4 years abandoned, starved, poor, and she's been trying to build up enough coin to leave the island to go find her father. Her father's name is Saint, and the only person that she really sells to is this person named Wes. And one night somebody tries to steal all her stuff and try to kill her, so she runs to Wes and his crew, and basically gives him all her money to just leave, and he ends up taking her on the ship. But he's like, you're causing too much trouble, we're dropping you off where you want to go, and we're never going to see each other again. And I'm enjoying it. I know it says it's a romance book. It says journey filled with romance, intrigue, and adventure. Right now it's mostly adventure. This is very fast paced, and her father sucks. She just got done seeing her father, and honestly, someone needs to beat him up. I don't care for him. I'm curious to know how there's going to be a romance in here when there's like less than 100 pages left. I do think, I already know I'm not going to keep this on my shelf, but I do want to finish the series, because I think there's 4 books in the series, or 3 books in the series, and then Saint is the prequel. But while I've been listening to the audiobook, I've been coloring in my new coloring book. This is Color by Numbers, and all of it's garden themed, so my goal is to complete this tonight, I guess. So I'm going to listen to the rest of Fable, and I'll give you my rating later. Okay, so I finished Fable, and I'm giving it a 3 stars. I don't know if I'm going to continue the actual story. Yeah, because it says it's a romance book. It's not really a romance book. Romance stuff happens at the end, like literally at the end of the book, but I wasn't feeling that connection. But I do like the adventure aspect. I like being out at sea. I like the deep diving stuff. There was a cliffhanger that happened, but it doesn't intrigue me enough to buy the book. But I might listen to an audiobook. It depends on how I'm feeling. So I finished this, and when I finished this, I also finished my coloring page. I need more markers, like more colors, because I just bought those markers, and yeah, I just need more colors. But while I was also writing stuff down, I started reading. Well, this isn't the cover. I was reading this book. It's I hope you get this message. This is a YA. I'm very tired. This is a YA sci-fi, and unfortunately, I'm DNFing it. This is told in multiple perspectives. Like, there's 3 main characters. There's I think it's Akeem, we have Kate, and we have Jesse, and they're all going through things. Also, the world's about to end in 7 days, and then also there's like another point of view of messages from like NASA or something. I don't know, something like NASA. But everyone's going through their own personal stuff, and it's like heavy stuff. Like Jesse is dealing with people constantly leaving him, so he's not building connections or trusting anybody, so he's not finding anything permanent in his life. But while that's also happening, him and his family don't have enough money for bills and stuff, and his mom's being overworked but not getting paid for the work she's doing. And then Kate's mother is schizophrenic, and she's trying to help her mom out, and like the cops have been called on them. And then also she's trying to find her father she's never met because she's heard stories about him. And then Akeem, he is doing a lot of programming, a lot of coding, and he's like deciphering messages from like the spaceships or whatever. And I kind of stopped it because I wasn't caring enough about anything that was happening, especially when we get into the point of views that aren't the 3 main characters. But in Akeem's perspective, we just entered a school shooting, and I'm not reading that. So I'm DNFing it at page 128. So this book will be getting unhauled, which kind of sucks. But yeah, I was like, there's certain content I don't like reading about, and that's one of them. So I'm not going to read that. I'll show you the 3 books that I have on my TBR right now. I think I have an audiobook for each one of them, but it's Love Boat Taipei. I think that's how you pronounce it. I think this is a romance. I'm not actually sure, but I have this one. I have Crier's War, and then I also have The Library of the Dead. So I just noticed all of these are part of series. Hopefully I like them. I think I'm gonna read this one first, and then I don't know if it's actually scary, but if it gets scary, hopefully I could sleep later. But I'm gonna read this one first because it's less than 350 pages. Okay, I'm gonna stop this real quick. I'm on chapter 6. I'm listening to the audiobook. I'm reading this. I'm not gonna read this book. It is almost 11 p.m. and I'm bored. I'm DNFing it, and I think it's a hard DNF. I don't think I like the writing style. And also, the main character's about to turn 14. Or is turning 14, so it's a very young adult. And I don't care. I don't care. It's not for me. For some reason, I thought this was an adult book. Like, I thought it was Because I think when I got this at Barnes and Noble, it was on this table with other adult horror books. This is for young adults. And that's not a bad thing. It's just the fact that it feels like it's for younger adults. And I'm not doing it. So, DNFing and unhauling, which is, I guess, good because I mentioned in a previous video that I was thinking about doing an unhaul project. And we're clearing out books left and right. So that's now 2 books that I've DNF'd. And I'm scared to read the other ones because I don't want this 24-hour vlog to be just me DNFing books, which is good on one hand because I'm getting rid of books that I don't want to read or no longer interested in, but also I'm not completely finishing a book, which is going to make me upset. I'm going to see if the other audiobooks are on here real quick. Also, I'm just going to update this, and I went to page 26. So I put it as that. So it's no longer on my TBR, it's no longer on my shelf. Now we're gonna see. Let's do Crier's War. Okay. So I'm gonna do this one. It's 13 hours. Hopefully I like it.
Harper Team and Harper Audio present Crier's War by Nina Garella, performed by Kim I. Guest. For the queer listeners, you deserve every adventure. Timeline. Before Automa Era. Era 900, Year 7.
12:02. I'm tired, okay? I'm exhausted. And I'm gonna be honest, I've been spacing out reading Crier's War. All I know is gay. It's sapphic. It's lesbians. And I'm kind of excited, but I'm so tired that I'm not really paying attention to everything. I just know the information I retained. It's humans versus people that are called made, MADE, and people who are made have gifts, I believe, and humans are now enslaved to those with gifts. And this is told in 2 perspectives. One is, oh my god, what's her name? What's her name? Crier. She's about to get married, question mark. She has a fiance, and he's about to go out hunting or something. And then I don't know, Ariel, is that her name? Don't really remember. She's a human and she's owned by someone, but I think she's seeking revenge on Crier. But the details and the writing are good. I'm just not fully here right now. So 7 hours and 31 minutes is where I'm at, and I'm debating on going to sleep, or usually, even though it's like late, like midnight, I would have to read a book on here. But the thing is, all my books are not on like ebook format. I don't know if I'm making sense, but because if I stare at a screen, I'll be up more. But the audiobooks make me fall asleep. This is giving me bad lighting. Oh, gross. So I'm gonna see if I can find a book that I own as an ebook. I'll do that first. Okay, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm going to sleep. I can't find anything I'm gonna read, so I'm gonna sleep. And then I usually wake up around 5 anyway, so once I wake up, I will read. I already paused the timer, so I'm not gonna play it or press record or whatever until I start reading again. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'll see you later in the morning. Okay, good morning. It is currently 6:34 a.m. I woke up, I washed my face, I still look tired. But I'm gonna continue the 24-hour readathon. Instead of finishing Crier's War right now, I think what I'm gonna do is read this book, The 5 Love Languages. I've had this on my shelf for at least 8 years, and I have the audiobook, but in order for me to stay up, I need to do something, so I think I'm gonna try to annotate this, if it's good or not. So that's what I plan on doing, and then hopefully I'll be up by the time I finish this book. I also have the audiobook for it. It's only, I think, 5 hours. Yeah, it's only 5 hours, so I should be done with this quickly. Okay, so my hair is so bad. I just took off the headphones. I'm only 20 pages in. It doesn't look that much, but I wasn't reading along at first because the beginning of this book is just like this man talking to the author about like how his marriages didn't work and how is like love real, like how do you keep someone to be in love or whatever. And now he's talking about like there's 5 different types of love languages, but like really what you need to do is know your partner's primary love language. But one of the sentences in the book made me stop because it was very loud. I'm gonna say that it was very loud. So in the book it says, without that love, he or she will be emotionally and socially challenged. Right? That says it in the book. But when you listen to the audiobook, it says the other word, the hard R word. And it's very like, I don't want to say aggressive, but it's just in your face. Because I was like, what? So now what I'm going to do is start circling words that don't match the audiobook. So I'm curious to know when they published this originally and then when they rewrote it. Because I guarantee you they had to rewrite some words because of, the time we're in. And I'm just like, dude, that was just out there. I wonder if it says it was rewritten. It says 2010, but I don't know if that was rewritten to this. But I'm going to continue listening to it because I am curious to know what they're going to say. But really, it's just like an essay about love, if you're curious. But yeah, I'll read more and then let you know. So I finished the 5 love languages. We're almost at 10 hours. Okay, this took longer than expected. Also, I stopped reading it physically because not only was it different from the audiobook is longer than this. So I feel like if I would have read it physically, I would have been done earlier. But the audiobook adds more paragraphs and more languages. Not languages, but like more words. And did it contribute more? Not really. So I just stopped reading it physically. But I'm giving it a 2 stars. I already know all the love languages, and I don't feel like this book brought anything else to the table. The 5 love languages, if you don't know, are words of affirmation, acts of service, giving or receiving gifts, quality time, physical touch. So Gary, the author, is a counselor, like a marriage counselor, I believe, and he brings up stories of other people's marriage problems. But it's essentially just like saying, listen to your partner, period. That's it. I was reading some of the some of the reviews on Goodreads, and some people are just so funny. But yeah, it doesn't bring anything to anything. Also, there are sections where like he starts talking about the Bible and God and stuff, and I wasn't connecting with it. So this might be useful to someone who's never heard of the 5 love languages, but also you could just look up a 15-minute YouTube video or less, and also there's free quizzes, so then you could personally know your own love language, because they have a section in the back where it's like, do you know your love language? But you could just take a free like 5-minute quiz online to get essentially what this book is talking about. This is, I rated it 2 stars. I won't rate it a 1 star. I rated it a 2 star because it can be useful to somebody, but it's not useful to me. I think I'm gonna go back and start reading Crier's War again, and then yeah, because I still have 14 hours question mark. I don't know math, but I still have that. I'm kind of hungry. I semi cleaned up my room a little bit while I was listening to the audiobook, but I think I'm gonna go back to coloring, and I might make breakfast. Who knows? Who knows? I'm just tired. Okay, so it is much later in the day, and I haven't really updated you on anything, but it is currently 10:20 p.m. and I have been distracted. I'm not gonna lie. I did finish Crier's War, and I'm giving this a 3.5 stars. I really enjoyed it. I like the fact that we jump from present day to past day because we're trying to figure out the history of a certain someone in the book. I'm not going to give spoilers. And it's not a romantasy, it's very fantasy focused, and then at the end there's some romance things that do happen, but it's not a romance book. But I really enjoyed it. I like the action, I like the writing styles, and I like the characters. I feel like a lot of the characters are somewhat complex. I do notice that the main character, Crier, her father sucks. And in the last book that I completed, not the last book that I completed, the first one, Fable, her father sucked too. So, daddy issues all around. But I am interested in reading the second book. So I'll probably pick that up at a different time because it did leave off on a cliffhanger. So there's that. And I'll probably give a more in-depth review later. But I am currently on page, or on chapter 16 of Love Boat Taipei. I think Taipei. And I'm enjoying it. The beginning of it really felt like the Disney movie Turning Red. Essentially, we're following around, what is her name? Following around Ever, who is a dancer at heart, and she has been applying to different colleges. Her family, her parents want her to become a doctor, and she's applied to colleges to become that, but she also applied to a New York school to be a dancer. And she got into that school, and it did not please her parents that she kept it a secret, because they don't think that's like a career path for her, that she needs to be a doctor. And they throw this surprise, I don't want to call it a trip because it's not really a trip, but they throw this surprise trip for her where she now has to go to Taiwan for a whole summer. And she's really bummed out because she already had plans. But now she's living like her rebellion lifestyle. And I'm curious to know what's going to happen. I think she's going to have a love interest who's currently, I think he's in a relationship. But I'm enjoying it so far. I did stop reading though at like dinner time, and then after that I kind of just was watching movies. I don't know how people do 24-hour readathons, just strictly reading. It's too much. But I did pause the timer at where I was left off at, so at 18 hours. It's 10 o'clock now. I don't feel like listening to an audiobook, and I also don't feel like reading this right now. So I think what I'm going to do is read a little bit on my Kindle, and it's probably going to be a book I don't have, but I'm going to read a little bit on my Kindle, and then in the morning I'll finish this because I am going to go to sleep. But I have read a lot of books, so I'm proud of that. But I'll keep you updated later. It's currently 10:12 a.m. Hello, I've taken a shower already, and if you are curious, I only read about like 2 hours last night. I've been reading Love Unwritten. You can't. Oh, I'm still reading it. But I'm 85% into the book. This is a book that I was already reading beforehand, so I didn't read all 85% last night. But I'm enjoying it. It's a single dad and nanny trope. He was my childhood crush. It's both of the characters having to deal with hard situations in life and learning to love themselves and trying not to please other people and being happy with things that they actually enjoy. And it's so good. It's so good. Honestly, I'm having a great time. I do need to read this one still. I need to continue. I think what I'm going to do is continue reading this one on audiobook so I could charge my iPad because my iPad's at like 10%. So I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to make breakfast and then I'll probably color some. I didn't show you my finished product yesterday. I tried color pencils today. Could you see it? And I need more color pencil colors because I don't have the exact ones that they need. But I've been enjoying it. The only thing is I have to slouch when I color because our table's kind of short and it's probably bad for my back and my neck, but who cares? So yeah, I'll probably start coloring something else. I might use gel pens this time. And then, yeah. So I'm going to make food. I'm going to listen to the audiobook of Love Boat Taipei and charge my iPad. If you're curious to know, I have 6 hours left of the audiobook, but I'm listening to it at 2.5 speed. Maybe I'll be done with it. I'm 43% into this book. I'm enjoying it. I don't think, depending on how it turns out though, I don't think I'll continue the series because I think there's 2 other books in the series. I do think I am getting tired of YA romance because I don't want to read about high schoolers. Well, I guess she's about to go to college, but still. Yeah, I think I won't be buying any more YA romances. If I want to read them, I could always get them from the library. So I think that's what I'm going to do. But I'm going to eat and then I'll play the audiobook. Okay, 24 hours has been up. It's been obviously longer than 24 hours if we're comparing time, but me reading for 24 hours is officially done. but I want to go through all of the books that I've read for this challenge. Even though it's a 24-hour reading challenge, I have read for 24 hours. It's just been spread out between like 2.5 days. Um, so, with that being said, we'll start off with the first book that I completed, which was Fable. And this was only told in one POV, which I liked, and I liked the adventure of this. I originally thought that Fable was a pirate book. It is not a pirate book, but it is set at sea. She ends up being on this boat to find her father, and I forgot what they're called, but basically they go to different islands and trade stuff for copper and coins and all of that. And she's trying to look for her father, to join his crew, and her father's kind of trash. It does leave off, this book does leave off on a cliffhanger, and I'm going to read the book, I'm just not going to purchase it. And I think it's only, I was going to say this is a duology, but I think there's more than one book in this series. But I am giving this a 3 stars for Fable. The next book that I attempted to read, I read to page 128, is I Hope You Get This Message. And this is told in multiple point of views. I think there's 4 perspectives. 3 are like main characters. 1 is just like, not a podcast, but like messages from outer space or whatever. Or 2 people from different planets. I can't really remember, but I stopped reading this book. I wasn't enjoying it, really. I don't think I'm a sci-fi girly. I think I like watching sci-fi. I don't think I like reading sci-fi as much. But I stopped reading this because I got into somebody's perspective and there's a school shooting that was going to happen. That's the content I don't want to read in my books. So I'm not going to finish this. I've had this on my shelf for a while, and the author's note is really sweet and all, but I know I'm not going to read this book, so maybe somebody else would enjoy this. So this will be Unhaul. The next book that I attempted to read was The Library of the Dead. When I originally bought this, I didn't realize it was YA. That's on me. I didn't read the synopsis. I just thought the cover was cool, and I wanted like a spooky setting in a library. The main character, she's like 14. And she reads like it. It's very, I don't know how far I got. I didn't get that far. I think I got to chapter 5 or 6. I didn't care for the narration. I didn't care for the content. Basically, this 14-year-old girl can, is it communicate with ghosts? I know she's like a ghost hunter or something. Didn't care. So I'm DNFing this, and I'm also unhauling it. The other book that I finished, this one was not on my Read It or Unhaul It shelf, but I had the audiobook from the library that was due soon, is The 5 Love Languages. I gave this a 2 star. This is basically talking about the 5 love languages, which is words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, physical touch. You can learn all of this information in it, like I said before, in a YouTube video that's very short. I stopped reading this physically because the audiobook is much more longer than this. And when I was trying to read it physically, it was just like jumping around and it was taking me out the story. So I mostly listened to it as an audiobook. But I didn't like it. I didn't care for it. So this is a 2 star. I will be unhauling this. The next book that I finished was Crier's War. Oh, I love this. This was a good book. This is YA fantasy. I know it says romance in some of the descriptions. It's not really romance. It is very slow burn. Nothing romantic happens until like the last section. But even still, like, this is enemies to potential lovers. But it's not focused on that. It's focused on these 2 girls. One is human, one is maid. And what is her name? I always say her name wrong. It's Isla. Isla, who is human, is seeking revenge. She needs her vengeance because essentially, I don't know what they were called. I don't want to call it the capital, but the people who make people, essentially for power, they are causing rebellions. Like, they're lying about causing rebellions against like humans so they could, you know, keep them enslaved. And her family was killed in front of her. So her goal is to kill, I don't want to call him the king, but basically kill the king's daughter who was made. And Crier, who is the daughter that's made, oh, she has my heart. She thinks she's flawed because she could semi-feel. She has awareness of like humans and their life, and she feels passionate, and that's not what made people are supposed to be. They're supposed to be made for certain qualities that whoever's making them would fit, and she thinks she's flawed because she was made to be an heir of her father, and she is about to get married to this other man. And oh, trash, betrayal. There's a lot that happens in here, actually. I'm giving this a 3.5 stars. I really enjoyed it. I am going to read the second book because it does leave off on a cliffhanger and I want to know what's going to happen. So I did enjoy this book. The one after that I completed was Love Boat Taipei. Yeah, Taipei. I feel like I'm always saying it wrong. Taipei. Because it sounds like I'm saying Type A, but it's Taipei. But anyways, the next book that I completed was Love Boat Taipei. And I'm giving this, I'll settle out to 3 stars because it wasn't bad. I know I was saying like, well, actually I didn't know what I was saying, but I'm giving it a 3 stars. This is, I don't know if I mentioned, it's a semi-love triangle. I don't think the main character should have ended up with anyone. I think she should have just stayed focused on working on herself and working on what makes her happy. She's 18. She's in her rebellious phase because her parents are forcing her to go to like this medical school when she just wants to be a dancer. And they have very strict rules for her. And they sent her off to Taiwan to be more in tune with her culture and her language. And since she's shipped far away, she meets some people and they start clubbing, hanging out. She's doing risky stuff. But in all of that, she's like, her goal is like, I'll get everything out. I'll do my last final dance at a studio. And when she comes back home, she'll go to the college her parents want and listen to everything her parents want. But right now, during the summer, she's going to try to live her best life. But a lot of drama happens. And it's okay. I'm not going to finish this series. There's 2 other books, but it's like following other characters within here. This one will be Unhaul for sure. And then I did finish a book that is not on my Unhaul pile, but it is like most anticipated. So this is what it looks like. Love Unwritten. And this one is a single dad, nanny trope, childhood crush. They're both going through stuff separately with people who betrayed them in their lives. And I rated it a 4 star. I really enjoyed it. I just wish because there's like this build up to like this court case and like 2 separate things are happening in each of the characters' lives. I just wish there was more impact of that at the end. I feel like it was cleaned up very nicely, wrapped with a bow. But I enjoyed it. And for coloring wise, if you want to see what I completed while we were here for the 24 hours, this is the first one, which was done with the markers, which is cute. The second one was done with colored pencils. And then the one I'm currently working on is going to be done with gel pens. But it turns out I need new gel pens. They're dying. But this is how far I got before I stopped. But all in all, these are all the books. These are all of the books that I've completed or attempted to read. And you know what? I'm not mad at it. This is a lot. This is a lot. I didn't think I was going to read this much because they've been on my shelf for a long time. So, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I do plan on starting to do more 24-hour readathons. Hopefully, that don't last over 3 days. But we'll see. My goal is to clear out my shelves. So, that's where I'm at. I'll see you in the next video. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe. See you next time. Bye-bye.